What's up, spooky bitches?
This is Cocktails to Die For.
It's Katie
And Vicky.
and our special guest, Katie 2.0.
Hi.
Thank you. All right. So, to start our episode off, would you like to do the disclaimer?
Yeah. So this has a lot of trigger warnings for sexual assault of children. And unfortunately, there is some detail that we're going to go into today. So you may want to skip this if you're squeamish about children's sexual assault. Obviously, none of us love it. But since we are going to be covering a serial child molester, there's going to be a lot. It's heavy.
But to make it a little less heavy for us, and hopefully you, we're going to make our drink called
The Prison Bitch Cocktail, because we hope this motherfucker stays in prison forever.
with no cocktail. At least not. So, we're going to start with some vodka. We're going to do... We're going to stop vodka,
Or, you know, just whatever your heart tells
measure
you
with
to.
your heart.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness.
Okay, so then we're gonna do half an ounce of triple sec, and then half an ounce of amaretto liqueur.
I feel like you got to go a little heavier on the amaretto since you did an entire, like, half a glass of vodka.
All right, and then we're going to get some cranberry juice. No one wants a UTI.
You want me to get the plastic off the other one?
Hold on,
for you
guys.
since
Un
you're
momento.
special?
There's plastic on it.
Oh my god.
I didn't know. I just thought it was like a twisty.
It's the wheel.
Okay, mine's ready. Vicky doesn't know what she's saying. Okay.
Are you serious right now? She tried to pour it with a plastic lid on, and I'm the one who
It was super thick.
I don't know. It's orange. You never know.
Shake it. All right, now we're gonna do some orange. Oh, look at that pretty. Oh, that was fine. Not gonna say.
Yeah, please get a lot of detail going.
Mm-hmm. Looks like a blood mixture. Okay, now we're gonna shake. Here, Lexi, shake. Okay. There's no ice. Sorry.
Yeah,
Now we're gonna
should have put some ice in that sucker. Oh.
Hear me pouring here, peep. And you'll have to check out our pictures because we have some really cute glasses. Oh wow! Really, I really want it here. That one will be yours. All right,
Okay.
this will be Katie's.
Feel free to not die, Katie.
All right, let's try our prison bitch. Cheers. Cheers.
All right. Well, that's a lot of vodka, friend.
That is a lot of vodka.
Had a lot of vodka.
All right, so follow the recipe. Don't measure with your heart, but overall,
Maybe
it's fine.
Measure with Katie's heart.
Yeah, it's good. Sorry, I thought that was like a shot. No?
If a shot was, hold on, you were up to the 3 on your little shaker glass. So if a shot is 3 ounces, which I'm no bartender, but I'm pretty sure an ounce / 3 ounces is not the same.
Mm-hmm.
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 All right, but it's still very good.
It is good.
It's good. We just gotta not so much the vodka.
What was that?
Okay.
Be special. Okay, folks. I don't know if you're ready to dive into this, but
I am. I've
we
been
may-
excited about this.
we
'cause
may
I
as
don't
well
know
go for it.
much about. I honestly, so this is gonna sound a little crazy, but I honestly don't know a ton about his case. I
Okay.
know what he is in jail for.
Mhm.
But I just took it upon myself to not research it because it's a trigger warning. So then I said, let's do a podcast, and you said, I'm doing this, and I was like, hell yeah. So maybe I'll cry.
Gonna make you question a lot of things about your life.
All right, let's do this.
And while most of our listeners are pretty familiar with the fact that we are in the pediatric field, it hits us on a different level for sure, because I can't fathom anyone in our position doing this, because psycho. Okay, so Earl Bradley is who we're doing our report on today. Report? What am I like? Freaking in school? Anyway,
Third grade.
our podcast is going to be on Earl Bradley. He was born on May 10th, 1953, and he was raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So, in all my research, there's not a ton that was known about his childhood or how he was raised or much of anything before he became a medical student. So, he graduated from Temple University in 1983. He completed his residency at Thomas Jefferson University Hospital in 1986. And he worked at Thomas Jefferson for a little while before he decided to open his own private practice in Philadelphia. While he was working there, he was caught in the act of sexually assaulting a child. A patient's mother literally screamed, "What the hell are you doing, you bastard?" at him as he had his hand in her daughter's diaper. Right. So this should have been where our story ended. Fuck you, Earl Bradley. You, after like several years of being a doctor, you should have been caught in Philadelphia and just straight up, officially, no longer a doctor, right?
Yeah.
Right? That should be how that should have worked.
That's
should have
fucking
been quick
crazy. I didn't even know he
was
practiced.
anywhere but Lewis. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
wait, doesn't he have to do so many background?
Yeah, but I mean, up until then, his life. Oh, you mean in Lewis?
Yeah.
So we'll get to that. Just
Okay.
in a second. I know, jumping ahead.
My head's just like wow.
Blown. So he literally followed the mom out to the parking lot of the office and basically was like, "No, no, 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 no! It's not what it looks like. I was just checking to make sure everything was okay. You know, like." As providers, we do check private area.
Mm-hmm.
I don't stick my hand in anyone's diaper. Like, I open it up, make sure there's no rashes, close that sucker back up and move on. But, I mean, I wouldn't stick my hand down a diaper. That seems a little bit too much. Anyway, pretty much everywhere he was at, people had already said he was a little eccentric and not quite right in the head. But, you know, some docs, a little special. We know. I mean, not
quirky.
Yeah, right. We're nerdy.
Yeah.
So people think we're a little bit not all there sometimes. Anyway, he made a big deal about saying that since his population was welfare patients, this mom was trying to extort money out of him because she was poor, she was young, she was unwed. Like, that was his way of saying, she's twisting what I did. I'm a doctor. I would never do that, you know.
Right.
So she didn't gain any like traction with her claim. And because she was going against the doctor, they claimed her as not credible.
Of course they do.
Yeah, because, you know, the fuck not. She's just a crazy lady. And this guy's a doctor. Why would we question him? He's a doctor. Because in our field, most people think that you're pretty respected. Or they used to, until people like this fucked us over and made us all look like assholes, right? Like, so now we all have to mind our P's and Q's with everything we do. We can't say anything that might be deemed inappropriate, which obviously we're not out here doing that, but it's just the point, like, we can't even have, like, Facebook pages where we have, like, any ounce of skin showing, or else we're some crazy person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I'm not saying I'm out here showing off my skin anyway. Like, I mean, I'm not for that. I'm a mom. But at the same time, like, you can't even just be a normal person and live your life without being scrutinized, because everybody and their mom is out to check out what we're doing, because people like this make us all sound crazy.
And we're representing, by being in this field, you're essentially representing a brand.
Yes.
But what I would say
and your company.
Yeah, is always be on guard. Trust your doctors, trust your nurses, trust your practitioners, and all those people. However, also do what's right for you and your child.
Right, and a lot of things he did were very sketchy.
Yeah.
But because he was a doctor, people allowed it to happen. And we'll get into it where other doctors even allowed it to happen because they wanted to cover up what they thought would make doctors on the whole look bad, which again, it does, but at the same time, we really shouldn't be covering up one person. And multiple people went to the boards,
Right.
like the
I remember
state
that.
board,
Yeah.
and it wasn't, nothing was done about it because, again, doctor. So, anyway, he decided at that point, like, he was gonna leave Philadelphia.
Well, no shit.
Like, shit was getting real, and he wasn't about to stay in Philadelphia. So he decided to move to good old Lewis, Delaware. Cute little quaint seaside town.
Really is.
It is very cute.
It's a beautiful town.
Very, very wealthy population. Lots of rich people. There's also a poor population down there. Don't get me wrong. Like, not everybody that lives in Lewis, Delaware is rich, but I mean, the majority of people that live there are very your typical coastal beach town where there's a lot of wealthy people, homes on the water, you know, like all of that. Other doctors, other lawyers, people like that living there. So in 1995, he opened, well, for a while he worked for BB Hospital as their chief pediatrician for 2 years. So as their chief pediatrician, let's see, as the chief pediatrician, he would make decisions that were not quite right, even though people knew that he was making decisions that weren't quite right. He still got away with it. The Medical Society of Delaware at the time was run, or the president of the Medical Society was Dr. James Marble. And he was one of the people who actually helped Bradley get a job here and open his own practice and all of that. However, nurses and other doctors literally described him as perpetually disheveled. He had an untrimmed beard, shaggy, matted hair, and he was always dressed in surgical scrubs. Which, I mean, as a doctor who works in a facility, if you're there all the time, scrubs aren't a problem. But apparently his were often soiled with blood and other fluids. Didn't bother to change them.
What the fuck?
I don't know. Apparently just running around with bloody scrubs.
If you were my child's doctor and came in with your hair matted and blood splatter on your clothes, I'd be like, get the fuck out, you're homeless.
Like, who'd you fucking murder? Like, I got questions.
Get out.
Apparently he probably had a little touch of autism because he rarely made eye contact with any adults.
Or he was guilty.
Yeah, I mean that too. But I mean, I'm giving him autism.
Okay.
But he also only connected with their children. He became the subject of chatter at other doctors' cocktail parties. Their literal comments would be, if your daughter has an ear infection, take her to Bradley and she'll get a free vaginal exam. So other doctors knew what was going on.
What the fuck?
Yeah. One of the lawyers who represented patients said after the fact, what he did was horrific, and what they did was unconscionable, because obviously they knew and did not a goddamn thing.
I don't care. I don't even have to put myself in their shoes. I don't care. Like, obviously I care if I lost my job, but like I could never.
No,
if I knew someone was doing something like that, I would speak up on all levels I could.
Right. And keep in mind, this was back in the 90s and early 2000s, and today that would not have been okay. Like, we may have joked about his appearance, like we may have been like, homeboy looks homeless. But if there was ever an instance where any of us thought that this man was doing anything wrong with the child, we would not have done it. Right. No one in our profession that we know, that I have met, that I have worked with as a colleague would have left. We would all have been like, oh, that crazy bitch. I'm teasing this. Yelling on you. I'm battling.
Give me the snitching. Okay, I'm snitching.
So anyway, a couple of people would say that there was some stuff going on, and other parents would be like, he's a doctor. Are you sure? Are you sure that's actually happening? He's a doctor. So again, doctors not really vibing with each other. Every year there would be complaints about him. While he worked in the hospital, he would make children get urinary catheters for no reason. Like, he would find a reason to put a urinary catheter in children, newborns all the way up till 12 years old. The older children, he would undress and have them squat on their hands and knees as he inserted a catheter from behind them. Girl, it gets worse. So don't even. Yeah. So people thought that shit was fucked up, and they put him up for a peer review.
Good.
So other doctors had to peer review him. He had this peer review, and really what it came down to was it was not medically improper per se.
I've never been fucking told this is how you put a catheter in.
Right.
Get on your hands and knees.
From behind?
No, like, even when they tell you to do that when you birth a baby, I was like, the fuck I am. That's not happening.
I mean, I had a C-section, so I didn't really have a choice.
No, they will. They'll make you get on your hands and knees.
Oh, you mean for, like, birthing the actual baby?
I'm not down for it. It's just me personally. But
not
we're
going
going
to do that.
to a different subject now.
Not going to do that.
Catheters, though, no.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So he got mad, and he threatened to sue the hospital because that other people were his enemies, and they conspired to force him off the staff by attacking his reputation. That was what he said.
Oh my God.
And then a couple months later, they elected him the hospital chief of pediatrics, and he served 2 terms of 2 years each.
I think what's so
fun time
is the fact that, like, Phoebe, we know from being in Delaware, I feel like Phoebe sometimes has its struggles, but in general, to get a chief in pediatrics, to get any pediatrician in Delaware is sometimes
very hard, yes.
So they were probably so excited to have someone who wants to work with kids and saw all these opportunities, and we could help the community and do this, and then we just ruined it.
Yeah. So in 2001, he got bored with that hospital life. He was like, you know what? These people are crazy. They obviously don't appreciate the way I do my job. So he decided he was going to open his own practice on Coastal Highway in Lewis, and it was called Babies, Baybee, like a bumblebee, Pediatrics. Okay? He opened it in a little house, well, what used to be an old house, because back in the day, a lot of doctors' offices were out of older homes.
It's like Virgin River. I love that.
Never seen that.
It's so good.
Yeah, sorry. He served the area's farming and resort population, because keep in mind, now we are in the boom of, like, resort population, but because it's summer. But there's a lot of, like, farmers and stuff that used to live down that way before it became as big as it is. Before Lewis, Delaware, and Rehoboth and all of those areas became what they are, they used to just be small farming communities by the water.
That's probably so pretty.
It probably was. Now we fucked it up with all sorts of shit. Anyway, he spent years making this office what he wanted it to be.
I bet.
He put a miniature Ferris wheel, installed a carousel, decorated the office and the surrounding area
with fucking Michael Jackson.
With life-size Disney figurines. He had a giant life-size Buzz Lightyear.
Do you think that's shit's in evidence, or do you think we could buy that?
Buy it. I mean, I'm pretty sure they blocked that shit up real tight.
I wonder if it's haunted.
Nobody died. Didn't kill anyone. Thank God. He's just a molester. He would set up carnivals in the parking lot. He had a whole room that was dedicated to okay over there?
Yeah, she's laughing at me.
That was a planetarium, so he could turn off the light and show the children his glow-in-the-dark constellation. I feel like that's a red flag, y'all. Don't do it. Don't let him go in there with you.
Let me turn the dark off for you. Or turn
the dark off!
Turn the light off.
Oh, that's so you.
Turn the dark off.
He would show Disney movies in his movie theater room. Like, homeboy went all out.
Okay.
So at the end of every appointment, we offer children a lollipop, a sticker, a toy, or whatever. He did the same.
You were going to say he offered it, Dick.
Well, I mean, he did do that as well, but that was not where I was going, psycho. psycho. No, he would offer a lollipop, a toy, a sticker, and while the parent paid and checked out, he would take these children to go get that because it's a personal experience and he wanted to be there to walk them through it, picking out this lollipop or popsicle even. Sometimes he had popsicles. This man was balling with his toys. We got you a dollar duck from the dollar store. But hey, this guy, he went all out for his patients because he was a psycho. Anyway, he would carry the kids out and take them down to the basement. For real, yo, I just want you to know, if your pediatrician ever says to you, I'm going to take your kid down to a basement.
Don't do it.
That's some fucked up shit. Don't do it.
There might be a basement there, but one, the staff don't even go in that basement.
We have a basement that we never enter, and it's scary as shit. I would never go down there, let alone take your child down there.
So there's never a basement that should go to.
Yep. He hired his sister as, his sister as his office manager.
Of course he did. Keep it in the family.
Oh, girl, he didn't keep it in the family, let me just tell you, because this bitch also knew he was a fucking crazy person. She said she reported his behavior to the state medical board. She was like, this motherfucker be crazy. So she reported him, said that she had multiple complaints of inappropriate touching.
I'm proud of you, whoever
parents, you are. Linda Barnes.
Good job, Linda
dead,
Barnes.
Though.
Well,
she died.
May God rest her soul.
But her husband's still alive.
It's time for another drink.
In a minute. You dumped yours. She didn't like it.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. We'll have to wait until the next one. She also reported that Bradley physically and emotionally abused his own son, and he was concurrently stealing antidepressants because.
Who fucked him?
I mean, I don't know, but it didn't say anything about a wife, just that he had a son. So I'm assuming that he left that bitch in Philadelphia.
And he was like, I'm taking the boy and going.
Yeah, which was probably a bad move. I don't know anything about this woman.
Probably
Maybe he was
sexually
sexually assaulting her.
Oh.
There was some probably some bad shit. It didn't go into all that.
Okay.
But I'm assuming that she probably was just getting the fuck away from him, which I do not blame her. He's a psycho. Get away from him. Don't have anything of yourself tied to it.
He probably made her wash his bloody scrub.
Oh, God.
In their home washing machine.
That's nasty. But the son was a teenager when she reported all this, so he probably had been doing that shit for years. The medical society gave the letter to their president. Guess who it was? Dr. James Marvel, same man who helped him get his license, who didn't respond and told the detectives he did nothing to investigate the letter because it was, quote, a family matter. Because his sister complained. It was just a family matter, y'all. She was just a hateful bitch. Because, I'm a woman and I'm complaining about a man who's a doctor. I gotta be just a hateful, vindictive old bitch. Anyway, everybody in the beginning, they just thought he was the greatest thing since sliced bread because he made parents think he cared so much about their kid's well-being. And then one mother said, as weird as he was, he's going to give my child more attention than any other pediatrician in the area, so I thought he was great. But at nearly every visit, he examined her daughter's vagina. Sick visit, well visit, the vagina got looked at. Why, man?
No, that doesn't need to happen.
She thought it was odd, but she was like, I don't know what else to do. He was a great pediatrician. So on March 29th, 2005, that daughter was scheduled for her 3-year routine checkup. She went in. Everything was good. They come out. When he finished the exam, he said, can I get her a lollipop? The mom said, sure. She was putting her other child into the coat. Bradley took her daughter away. She was getting her son into the cart. Then they came back after that. She was getting her daughter into the car seat, and the girl looked at her and said, Mom, why did Dr. Bradley just kiss me like a dog? Sorry, what?
What?
Right, so clearly the mom was like, he put his tongue in your fucking mouth, and that's not okay.
I mean, good job to that girl.
Right.
Oh, shit.
So, police officer or police chief at the time for Milford, Delaware, was Kenneth Brown. He did the investigation in 2005 and literally said there was no doubt in his mind that Bradley molested that girl. The 3-year-old wouldn't make that up.
Mm-mm.
That's got to come from somewhere. Like, you don't just make that
Mhm.
shit up. So he wanted to press charges. He worked on that case. Other employees from the office described him as weird and disgusting, but they couldn't prove anything. Like, they tried, they couldn't prove anything. And unfortunately, after a month, he was told to drop the case because they had more pressing things to deal with. So he did as he was told. In 2009, December 7th, a 2-year-old patient was on their way home from a physical exam. And she also complained to her mother about him inappropriately touching her and hurt her when she went down to the toy room in the basement.
Okay.
So the mom was like, that's some shit. She had her husband go to the hospital, go to the police office with her and file a report. Kenneth Bradley again.
Kenneth Brown.
Brown, shit. I got him confused for a minute. Kenneth Brown again was in charge of the investigation. This time they had more to get hold of.
Okay.
Because twice in 2008, allegations had surfaced. There was quite a bit of stuff that they had built up over the years. And one doctor who took his own children to Dr. Bradley said that during his own daughter's 7-year well visit, Bradley inserted an ungloved finger into her vagina. And when the parent questioned it and the girl screamed, he told the mother he was just checking to make sure her hymen was intact.
What?
On a fucking 7-year-old. Why wouldn't it be?
What did the doctor dad do?
Well, I'm assuming doctor... Oh, no, it said doctor told no one.
But, like, you know that...
Outside his own medical practice. They talk shit about him.
But you know that that's not
but
normal.
didn't
So if he did it to your daughter...
Right, he's got to be doing it to other people, clearly. But they didn't do shit about it. So, on December 16th, Bradley was then arrested and charged with 9 counts of rape, including a felony charge for 4th-degree rape of that 2-year-old patient. And he surrendered himself on December 18th, and bail was set to $2.9 million. $2.9 million cash.
Yeah.
Nobody posted his bail because he's a psycho.
They shouldn't.
So this became the long, drawn-out trial because, as we all realize, this man claims he's not guilty. We're just so surprised. Why would he claim that? His preliminary hearing was set for January 14th. I've jumped ahead. 2010. February 2010, the grand jury indicted him on 471 counts of rape and exploitation. At that time, 103 patients were identified through videotapes. This motherfucker was not smart, y'all. There were 13 hours worth of video.
What was he videoing?
Showing his sexual acts on 86 different children, mostly toddlers. The average age was 3 years. The youngest age was 3 months. Ranging in date from December 1998 all the way up to December 2009.
So did he have cameras in his exam room or the basement?
He had them in the exam room, in the basement. He had 3 utility sheds out back that he also used for doing his not fun thing. He had 5 USB discs, not discs, but the little USB ports, full of video footage. In the video, it shows him engaging in intercourse and oral sex with children as young as 3 months. He even was so bold to squeeze one child so hard that he made the baby stop breathing, and then he had to, like, resuscitate it. And they just brought it back out to its mom. Like, nothing was wrong. Right. Anyway. So the basement and the outbuildings were the primary place where he did these things.
So how did he get? Was it like him doing a procedure? I have to take him
No.
there?
This is when he would take them real quick for their
Go
little
out.
lollipop and stuff.
But they were gone forever?
No, they were gone for very short amounts of time. He'd jam his stuff where he needed to jam it like a weirdo. I don't know, man. I wasn't there. Don't want to be there. I would have killed him.
I would have killed him too. I would have killed him.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. His license wasn't permanently suspended until February 19th of 2010.
Oh.
They did freeze his assets, so he couldn't get a regular prosecutor.
Okay.
He had to get a public defender.
Okay.
I know, right? Really sad. His arraignment was March 24th, 2010, where he pled not guilty to all of his charges, and they made a follow-up hearing for May 17th. He then waived his right to a jury trial and opted for a bench trial instead, which basically means that instead of a jury giving the verdict, it is just the judge. Which is a fucking bad idea if you ask me, because at least if, I mean, not to say that he had any way of making it, but at least if you have other people listening, you could bank on maybe having one or two sympathetic ears. Not in this case, by no means, but you know, if you just go with a judge, that judge is gonna fucking mess you up if he thinks you're wrong. So, Judge William C. Carpenter,
but he was thrilled about this.
Yeah, got the evidence on June 7th, 2011. The evidence was presented, the trial happened, and on June 23rd, 2011, he was convicted on 24 counts. 14 of those counts were rape, 7 were assault, and 3 counts of exploitation of a child, probably for the videos.
Mm-hmm.
August 26th, he was sentenced to 14 consecutive life terms and 165 years in prison without parole. So he tried to appeal because he's crazy. But they were like, nah, bro, everything is the same. On September 26, 2011, they were like, you fucked.
Yeah.
Just take it. Take it. No more appeals. You're done. And you're not going to have any eligibility for parole. So, in October 10th, 2011, they knocked down his office building and his storage lockers and all of that stuff. They just fucking took that house of horrors down.
Good.
They said, it's gone. He was originally held at James T. Vaughn Correctional Facility until 2016, when it was deemed unsafe for him to continue to stay in the state of Delaware. There were too many people that knew him or knew about him or knew a victim of his or something for him to continue to reside.
Let's keep him safe.
Right. Him to continue to reside in this state. So they moved him to Cheshire Correctional Institute in Cheshire, Connecticut. Yep.
I wonder if they're with my friends I'll be discussing.
I don't know. At the same time that all of this was going on, a hotline was put in place by the Attorney General's office asking any victims to please reach out to the state police to get any information that they may have about victims so that they can help them, because a class action lawsuit was also initiated to recover damages for more than 900 children that were abused. In November 2012, they were awarded $123 million. $119 million came from 6 different insurance companies that had covered Beatty Medical Center during his time there. $3 million came from the Medical Society of Delaware, and $1 million came in free medical and mental health care from the hospital for the victims. However, that's never enough.
No.
No amount of money can fix what somebody did to fuck up their lives. And honestly, I don't feel like anybody actually apologized for his action. Like, Beatty Medical Center never came forward. These people that worked with him never came forward. None of these other doctors who knew what the fuck was going on ever came forward and just said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I knew what was going on and I didn't do shit.
Yeah.
And probably because they would be held culpable for all of this because they're assholes who should have stepped up. Not the people that worked with him, because they sounded like they pretty much stepped up. Like, they reported him over and over and nobody did anything about it. And so they just kind of like, you know, like, how much can you do?
Don't let your child in the basement, whatever you do.
Yeah, or maybe just like being like, don't fucking come here, run.
Yeah.
Run like the fucking wind. But they needed a job. I mean, you know how it is. You need a job, you got to pay the bills. So they were probably just hoping he'd not safe in whatever economy. 2010, 2011. It wasn't the worst economy, but
This whole thing just makes me sick.
yeah, it's really
This
sickening.
is why I didn't read it.
And he's a psychopath, and he should be fucking
I'm surprised
raped and shot in prison.
he has not been killed in prison.
Yeah, so far he has not been. He's been, I mean, he's probably in fucking solitary, but I mean, I hope he is. I hope he's miserable every day of his pathetic piece of shit life. Katie, what you got? You think anything about this? Other than the fact that you want another drink? Please don't tell me you want another drink.
I was with you guys a long time ago. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking about all the different ways I would have done it.
Katie's a little psycho. She do be psycho.
It's just so sad because it really is someone that his community decided to trust.
Yeah.
And he just took major advantage of them and their children, and he thought he was playing against vulnerable children because they couldn't speak up, but they
Right.
did. And I'm proud of those kids for doing that, but the whole thing just fucked up.
Right.
Like, it just needs to not ever happen again. So, if you see something, say something. Say it loud. Say it 1,000 times.
Right.
You're not wrong.
No. Never wrong for speaking up.
No.
Just like, you would have. I mean, like, that's part of what we do.
It
We
is.
are
Mandated.
mandatory reporters.
Yep.
So, I don't know when that policy came into effect. I mean, I've been a nurse for a really long time. Long before this happened, I was a nurse. I was a mandatory reporter then.
Mm-hmm.
So these people knew they were supposed to speak up, and they did nothing. And that's what I think is so frustrating. They just said, fuck it, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, that's not okay. That's not why you get into this line of work. You take an oath for a reason.
Yeah.
So, well.
All right. So.
On that sad note, one more drink.
Yeah.
All right, spooky bitches. See you again.
See ya. All right, peeps.
Stay spooky.
And stay safe.